Welcome back to the channel. My name is Raquel and today I am going to walk you through how to be in a conference and how to be part of the conference as an introvert. Yep. Yeah. What is the issue that comes with being an introvert? The issue is that when you have a job or when you have a profession where you have to go to conferences and you have to network, that might be a problem. Hi, my name is Raquel and I am an introvert. And I don't mean that in the I hate people kind of way. It's just that when I am around a lot of people, I will need some downtime afterwards just to re-energize and just to recenter myself. And I really found this weird while growing up because I grew up in a world where being the extrovert was actually the normal thing. And it wasn't until I was 20-something, I would say, that I came across a TED Talk that talked about the power of introverts. And up until then, I had not come to this realization that I am actually an introvert and that it is okay to be an introvert. So what did I do? I became strategic. So the first thing that I had to learn was that people don't actually go to conferences to learn things. I've been doing this all along for many years, trying to go to all sessions to learn something, running around like crazy. And that's actually not why people go to conferences at all. Good to know. I mean, let's be honest. The conference, the slides, the papers, the research. Yeah, I mean, you can read that at home. Of course, you can meet the authors there and you can, from time to time, listen to something interesting. But you really need to be in the mindset and you really need to pay attention. And this is something that you can also do at home. What I see is that a lot of people are going to conferences and once they are there, they just open up their laptop or they're on their phones and someone is saying something on stage and everybody's just somewhere else. What people actually want when they go to conferences is to have their brain scratched. Yeah, and that is not what happens. We mostly have to sit passively listening to the talk or the speech or the presentation without actually engaging with it. Now, let's talk about the part that most people don't prepare for. Networking. Yep, presenting your work is important, but that's not the most important part. The real value is in meeting people and talking with them and networking. And that is actually the most difficult part as well, especially if you're an introvert. So what have I done to improve my strategy at conferences? Well, I've read a couple of books. Book number 1, Never Split the Difference, from Chris Voss. Now, some people might think this book is actually about manipulation. I care to disagree. This is a great book on how to listen to people. This book has taught me how to better listen to people. And this is actually a skill that I use often now as a doctor. So, you're not wasting time. You can use this as a friend, as a mother, as a parent, as a professional, and also in conferences. This book will allow you to better take care of conversation and never be afraid again of those awkward moments around, what am I going to say now? The second book is Never Eat Alone. And Never Eat Alone has a whole shebang around how to move around conferences, how to network, how to follow up. And it is a very interesting book if you want to take conferences seriously and if you want to have a return on investment in conferences, because that's really what it is. When you're going to a conference, you're paying the conference, and if you're not paying the conference, you're paying in time. You're going there, you have the trip, you have the hotel, but also you're giving it your time. It's time that you're not doing something else. You're not at work, you're not with family, you're not with yourself. You're putting yourself out there. And if you're doing all of that, you might as well have some ROI. And as an introvert, I knew I had to work on this. It's not just being weird out there and looking to someone to see if he or she approaches. It's really about, I have limited resources with my energy. So how will I be in this place that makes me uncomfortable and network with people who will actually be relevant for the work that I do and who I find interesting. It's not just about sitting there and waiting for things to happen. I really understood that I had to take a more proactive role in working a conference. So in the beginning, what I would do is that I would just go there and be very naive about it all. Just go there, meet people, make some new friends, breathe inside of your paper bag once you get to the hotel, and then do it again. What I do now is completely different. And this is actually part 3. So part 3, being strategic as an introvert. 1, be intentional about who you want to meet. 2nd, think about the value that you can bring to them. Yep, let that sink in. What value can you bring to those people? What value can you bring to that person in particular? Not how can they help me, but how can I help them move forward? Yep, that is strange, right? That's a strange concept, isn't it? And then just embrace. Yes, this sounds very esoteric, but this is it. Embrace serendipity. I cannot count the times that I've helped someone with something at conferences, and it really came back later in my life as something else. I like to call this professional karma. Yep. A lot of times it becomes personal karma because when you're really interested in people, you become friends with them and you know their families, and this is the part that I actually like the most. But in the beginning, let's just call it professional karma. And so this leads us to the last part. Part 4 is for the organizers. A little bit of unwanted advice for the organizers. If you are putting together a conference, don't just put out a conference with talks, with speeches, with keynotes. Try to think of your conference as almost as a speed dating or as a dating app. I think that people need to have more time to connect. So if we could rethink how to network and how to make space for those connection places to happen within the conference instead of being always during the coffee break or random meetings, I think it would be actually much more interesting. An example, at the AMY conference, AMY is this huge organization around health professions education. They have my favorite session, which is called AMY Fringe. Now, AMY Fringe is a session where the weirdos come together. And by the weirdos, I mean the most original people in health professions education. So you will see people doing everything. They can be having a workout, they can be singing, they can be doing improv sessions, and it all has this HPE geek theory kind of background. But people are doing things that do not involve singing around, passively listening to some vanilla talk again. And this is where you make friends during this conference. It's the most unbelievable session of all. And the amount of energy in that room is just incredible. So this is really different from what is out there. And I wish more people would think about stuff like this. That is what people will remember from the conference. So I almost want to bring people from the dating space into conferences just to make it more intense. I really would like to see that. Business idea. What people crave in a conference, it's not slides, it's human interaction. It's networking. It's being with other beings who are going through the same challenges or similar ones, with whom they can vent and from whom they will understand if there are solutions, how they manage things, and some kind of partner in crime that they can then meet again in other kind of realm, professional one probably, so that they can bring stuff to the world together. This is what conferences are about, the human. And that brings me to the bigger reflection. So if you're at a conference, half skimming through the email, sitting through yet another vanilla talk, ask yourself, what am I missing here? Because the real point of a conference It's not the slides, it's the conversation. And if you're an introvert like me, don't try to do conferences like everybody else. Be strategic, be generous, and remember, it's not about how many sessions you attend, it's really about how many connections you make.